At the T-minus 3-minute mark, tape recorders on board the spacecraft were turned on. These recorders record both voice and data. We have ignition sequence start. The engine's now building up to 7.7 million pounds of thrust. We have a launch commit and we have a liftoff. Moving back. The Saturn V lifting off with power.
You are listening to The Radiator here at Big Heavy World, and now begins Rocket Shop Radio Hour. I'm your host, Abby BK, and with us today we have David Karl Roberts. How are you doing?
Good, Abby. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. And we always like to start off our shows with a song, so go ahead. What have you got for us?
All right, I'm going to start you off with something called Too Hot to Even Move, because there's a lot of heat going on right now. Too hot to even move, makes it kinda hard to find my groove. But it happened, don't you know? Starts with the tapping of those toes. Soon there will be happy feet now everywhere. Hey, yeah, let down your hair. Get your body on the floor, let your body now move everywhere. And soon you will know, now you're moving and you're grooving now, really nice and slow. Oh, oh. Make hay if the sun don't shine. You just got to make your mind up. Let your body move, and soon you find now you're right back there. Yeah, you're right back in the groove. Make hay if the sun don't shine. You just got to make your mind up. Let your body move, and soon you find now you're right back there. You're right back in the groove. It's too hard to even move, makes it kinda hard to find my groove. But it happened, don't you know? Started with the tapping of those toes. Soon there would be happy feet now everywhere. Hey, hey, letting down your hair. Get your body on the floor, let your body now move everywhere. And soon you will know you're moving and you're grooving now, really nice and slow.
Lovely, David. Karl Roberts there with the perfect song for this hot, humid evening, right?
We've been setting some records lately, haven't we, down south? Here in Vermont today, it's getting a little bit sweaty.
Yeah, definitely. So you've recently released an EP
I did.
Yes, tell us about that. And it was live recordings.
It was a live recording. There's a favorite little place I play in Cabot, Vermont called Harry's Hardware, which is a real life hardware store right on Main Street. And every Saturday evening they do music in their front window. And I decided one day last October to just set up my recording gear when I was playing there, and I took some songs off that and released it in February. And that song right there, Too Hot to Even Move, is on that album.
Wow, so that's all self-produced then, just recording sound, playing live. That's impressive.
Yeah, just recorded live, I think, we just happened to get a good sound that night, and I thought it was great representation.
Yeah, amazing. So did you plan in advance that you wanted that live sound for those songs?
Not really. I just went through the list of the songs that, listened to them all through, and the ones that I didn't mess up on, I was like, okay, I'll take those.
I love it. I feel like one thing that I've always appreciated about live recordings is that you see you feel and see the ambiance of a room.
Yeah.
And the people. So
it's fun. It's fun playing those types of rooms too, because it's a real listening room. So it's a kind of place where I knew it wasn't going to be loud in the bar type area. So it was a good place to do that.
Definitely. So self-production wise, do you typically record your own music?
I do. Mostly a lot of self-production stuff. I've also recorded other bands for many, many years. I've been doing this for like 40 years, and I based a long time out of Portland, Maine, where I recorded a lot of bands, and I worked full-time in the music industry. I worked in a guitar shop, and worked doing sound and things like that.
Nice. What is kind of like your preference between, do you really enjoy the production or do you enjoy performing?
I like production, but I love performing. I love this process of songwriting. That's what I really love. That's the thing that gets me the most. Is I wake up in the morning and I go right to work trying to write songs.
Yeah, I love it. So let's talk about that. What's your songwriting process? How do songs come to you typically?
It happens differently all the time because I think there's no real rule for songs, but most of the time with me it comes with the music first. I kind of sleep with a guitar right in the bed, and I wake up like at 3 a.m. I grab it and some chords come out, and then sometimes I'm reaching for the phone to try to type out those chords so in the morning I can try to remember them. But then I'll kind of hit a groove and I'll just work on the arrangement of the chord structure until I get something I'm happy with, and then I kind of sing nonsense over it and get the melody. And I do different things, like I'll take a bunch of National Geographics and I'll just throw them on the floor and take words from the titles of things until I get a sentence. Or I'll read a book and there might be like one line that really sticks out, or something I hear that day walking down the street sticks with me, and then I'll build a song right around that.
Wow, I love that. How long does it typically take you to write a song? Do you tend to revisit things, or?
There's no easy answer for that, because the ones that come really quickly are few and far between. So most of them get worked and reworked and reworked, and there's like 3 or 4 songs I'm working on right now that are weeks into the process, where I'll keep on changing the arrangements or working on the chord structure, just trying to play with it a little bit until, that right combination and that magic happens.
Right. So you said that you chose your songs for the EP kind of based on, I guess, the quality or how you felt about some of the live recordings.
There's some favorites that I hadn't. There's a lot of stuff that I write that I haven't released, and so there was a big backlog of stuff, especially during pandemic, that all the different songs that came out that need somewhere to go, and it was either go into a full-blown production or do this live album, and the live album for me made sense because that's I think sometimes when I play live, I really kind of hit my stride, because when you're in the studio, you're kind of a lot of times locked to that click track, and you're trying to build, a bunch of different instruments on top of each other. Live, I'm doing a solo thing, I can kind of just float on the songs and use that kind of ambiance.
Yeah. Do you feel that this particular EP kind of tells a certain story? Like, what was your vetting process for the vibes of the songs you chose?
I don't think so much as a story as I just went through, and the ones that seemed to me that felt good are the ones that I chose. And there were a few songs. The very first song on the album was a song called Hunter's Moon. And that song, I knew I wanted to get a recording of because I didn't really have one yet. And so that one went on as the number one song on there.
Okay. And you said that you wrote a good amount of them during COVID?
Quite a few. I write a lot of songs, so it's not uncommon for me to, in parts of songs. I've got buckets of papers with parts of songs on them, but not uncommon for me to write somewhere between 20 and 50 songs a year or more, or parts of songs. The ones that actually survive that process, though, and come out to performance are a lot less. It's like once I try songs out in front of people, I kind of get a feel of what's working and what's not working. And some songs just don't work in the live sense, but other ones, they go over well, and that's the ones that tend to survive.
Yeah. Did you find that the pandemic helped with, time-wise to kind of be creative, or did it kind of stifle those efforts?
I don't know. I think for me, the pandemic happened at a good time because I sustained a hand injury right as the pandemic was starting. So for me, it was a lot of recovery time at that point. Where I had kind of smashed a finger and kind of ripped out my elbow. And so that took me a while to kind of recover from that, which I needed it. And then when we started to come back and all the live streams started to happen, I was kind of back up and running. But yeah, there was a lot of downtime, so there was a lot of time to work on music, or you're playing at the house by yourself, so it wasn't a lot of reflection back from other people. But a lot of songs kind of came out.
Yeah, I mean, it's the right time to do it when you can, right?
Right.
Well, we'd love to hear another song, so go right ahead.
Well, I was just talking about Hunter's Moon, which is first song on the Live at Harry's Hardware album. This is a song that I was standing on my deck in the middle of the winter. I've got this second floor deck, and the moon was kind of shining down on Lamoille Valley. And it was about 3 a.m, and I was thinking, what is it that the full moon does that keeps people awake? And for me that night, it was worry. And so I just told myself I got to quit my worrying. Shake keeps me up in the middle of the night, and I lie awake, gotta quit my worrying. But it's a feeling I can't shake. Keeps me up in the middle of the night, got a choice to make. Do I take the deal? Been off to me. It's everything that I've always wanted and everything I want to be. Gonna quit my worrying, but I got a choice to make. Keeps me up in the middle of the night, everything's at stake. Hunter's moon. Now the stars are fading fast, sun coming up real soon. Gonna quit my worrying, but it's a feeling I can't shake. Only gonna be here soon enough, I got a choice to make. cliche. Well, I gotta get a hold of my heart, and I got a choice to make. Gotta quit my worrying, but everything's at stake. Keeps me up in the middle of the night. Got a choice to make.
Hunter's Moon, David Karl Roberts. I
Hunter's
loved
Moon.
that one. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
So, in terms of, I know we covered that you recorded all of your music for the EP. Did you also mix and master the tracks as well?
Yeah, and it didn't really require that much mixing and master. I had to, basically I took the tracks and I basically re-EQ'd them, added some compression and some overall reverb, and just kind of, it was easy to do as a solo person. And then to master it, there's a lot of services now that, you can do online mastering and stuff like that. So it's pretty easy process.
Yeah, awesome. So I know that you've toured a good bit around New England area and performed, but what would you say in terms of, because we've spoken a bit about like Vermont spaces and the Vermont energy, how do you think that that kind of has influenced your sound?
There's great rooms everywhere. I'm originally from Vermont. I was born up in the Northeast Kingdom, but I grew up in the state of Maine. And I spent probably like 40 years in the state of Maine. I came back to Vermont about 5 years ago. And the one thing that here in Vermont, there's a pretty big acoustic scene and folk scene. But there's a lot of different styles of music and different scenes all over the place. And I think with anybody who's playing, is if you figure out what your scene is and you find those spots, then you can find places to play. And Vermont has a lot of places where I love to play, these little tiny rooms, places like Harry's Hardware, the Whammy Bar in Calais, places like right here in Burlington, like the Venetian Soda Lounge, which are just really great rooms, very accepting and very community-oriented.
Definitely. So are you planning on still touring a bit around New England at this time, or are you focusing more on Vermont?
I still play quite a bit around New England. I play a lot in Maine still. I do play a lot in Vermont, but I play in New Hampshire. This week I'll be going down to Poultney at the Poultney Pub on Friday. Next week I'll be at Halverson's on Wednesday for their Courtyard Music Series, which is a benefit series which happens to be benefiting Big Heavy World next week on August 2nd. And you can find me playing at breweries or listening rooms or little spots all over the place.
Yeah, lovely. So you've opened for some pretty big names as well.
I've had some opportunities in my life. When I was living in Portland, I had a lot of chances to play in a lot of the bigger clubs, opening for a lot of different old supergroups. People like Fairport Convention or Hot Tuna, Dave Bromberg. Did shows with rock shows. I used to play the Boston rock scene quite a bit too with different bands, and so I kind of grew up in that whole. I was kind of the acoustic punk of Portland for a while. I was the Billy Bragg, I was the guy that fit into the punk scene, but I was the long-haired kid with an acoustic guitar. And I think, I worked my way, so I was working full-time in the industry, working at a nightclub, working at a guitar shop, and through those contacts, I just met a lot of people.
There you go. Any particular bands or memories from some of those days that truly stick out?
It was just really fun to do those shows with different bands. I did a 3-night tour with New Riders of the Purple Sage, and that was kind of fun hanging out with all those guys. But it was just great. I was the guy with the van with all the bumper stickers all over it, full of PA gear, and we'd just take off and go play. We'd find rooms and we'd set up shows, and I think that was the funnest part, was just traveling and playing.
Well, it sounds like you brought the true, authentic Vermont vibes with all the bumper stickers. So we would love to hear another song. What have you got for us?
I'm going to do a song that every October I try to write myself a tune that's a kind of a spooky tune. And though a lot of times they turn out to be about vampires and things like that, this past year I took the story of the devil and Daniel Webster, and I decided I'd put that to music. So the story of the devil Daniel Webster, for those of you that don't know it, is a story about a farmer in New Hampshire who makes a deal with the devil to get everything he wants. And after he makes that deal, he kind of realizes maybe it isn't such a good deal. Well, the devil said to me, I got everything that you need. No need to philosophize, just keep looking in my eyes. You know now you want more, don't you want to know what's in store? Come on boy, now let's make a deal. Get what you want, your soul I steal. So yeah, Mr. Scratch, now I do believe you can give me everything that I need. But when the knock comes at my door, still say no, but you still want more. Now the devil, he was mad. There was a soul he wished he had. He crossed the river, now crossed that line, saying, you think there's better days in the by and by? No, Mr. Scratch, he said, I don't for sure, but I ain't setting foot on the other shore. I think the good times are in the here and now, and I'd rather hang out now at Rocket Shop anyhow. Cross the river now, cross that line, saying, you think it's yours, but it's really mine. So I got Mr. Webster on the phone. I said, Daniel, can you please now come to my home? I think the good times are in the here and now. The devil thinks he owns my soul somehow. Midnight trial, cards are stacked. All that's good is under attack. But in the freshness of morning, the verdict came in. The devil got the boo, now Daniel did win. Now the devil, he was mad. There's a soul he wished he had. He crossed that river, now tail tucked in, and he never seen it cross corners again.
Karl Roberts, thank you for the story background on that one. I enjoyed knowing the background for sure.
Thank you. It's an old traditional story.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of your upcoming projects, What are you working on? What's in store for the future?
Well, it's about time to start doing some more recording. So as soon as I can find some time, a nice quiet place. I've got a big barn that it's got a nice loft that I work out of, but it's not always unnoisy because I'm right beside Route 100. So I have to wait for a lot of times in the middle of the night to do some recording. But I'm going to get back to laying some tracks, and I play a lot right now. It's summertime, so it's a good time to be out there doing shows. I do host the Venetian Soda Lounge open mic on Pine Street, which is every other Tuesday. We just did one last night, so it'll be in another 2 weeks. And it's a lot of fun to go out and hit open mics sometimes, too, no matter how much I'm gigging. And right now I probably do 10, 12 shows a month through the summertime, but then fall will happen and it'll probably chill out for a little while. And then, of course, the almighty winter comes.
Any ideas for the upcoming concept of songs that you're working on to record? Are there like a few that you've been playing live at gigs and open mics and such that you feel like have been sticking that you haven't recorded yet?
Yeah, there's too many that I haven't recorded yet, and trying to figure out a compilation of what's going to all work together, or sometimes hard to do. So I think the main way I approach it usually is just start recording them, and then whatever comes out good, I'll stick it all together or something. I'm kind of eclectic in my songwriting, so it's hard to pigeonhole me as far as like sound goes, other than I'm a guy with an acoustic guitar and I play a little harmonica, but I do play other instruments. I play mandolin, I play national steel, and I can bang around on pretty much anything. That comes from working in a guitar shop for a long time. Anything comes in, you got to figure it out,
Yeah, so in terms of your involvement with the Venetian Soda Lounge, how did you kind of get into that there, and how has it been sort of supporting the local music scene and the community in that way?
The songwriter open mic there, which happens on every other Tuesday, is such a great family of people. And I've been involved in various open mic scenes, back in Maine, and I hit a lot of them, so I know the ones I like and the ones I don't like to go to. And so when I talked to Justin Bonnell, who is the owner of the Venetian Soda Lounge, he was trying to do an open mic, but he really didn't have any concept of how to get it going. So I was like, let me come in, let me get some people. So I've got a lot of different friends in Burlington that play. And so I managed to lure a few of them down one night. And then the next week we went down again and we did it again. And at that time, it was competing with some of the other bigger open mics that were around. And so we decided to move the night to a night where there was no open mics, and kind of keep it to a listening room type of environment with songwriters, acoustic players, small solos and duos. And it's become a really great Tuesday night scene. Sometimes there'll be, we'll have 18 to 20 songwriters in there performing, and there'll be like 60 people in there on a Tuesday night listening to music. And it's pretty cool to see it grow from November when we started to now, where it's a very regular thing, very competitive to get on the list.
Yeah, amazing. So at the end of our shows here on Rocket Shop, we always give you the chance again just to remind listeners of your upcoming gigs and also where to find you on socials, your website, etc. So feel free to plug all of the good things right now. Well,
you can always go to loveshackrecords.com. That is kind of the clearinghouse for where you can find me. And Love Shack is basically what I use as the recording studio, Love Shack being the home. So if you go there, you can find music. You can find usually a schedule of where I'm going to play. Also on Facebook and Instagram, if you go to David Karl Roberts Music, and that's Karl with a K, you can usually find me through Facebook and Instagram. And I do a lot of Facebook event posts. So you can find me. Usually, you can find where I'm playing someplace in the area. This week, once again, doing Rocket Shop tonight, and then Friday I'll be going down to the Poultney Pub down in Poultney, Vermont, which is down near the Rutland area. And this weekend I'll be hanging out. I'll be hanging out in the rain, probably with everybody else. And next week, Wednesday at Halverson's on Church Street in Burlington for the benefit for Big Heavy World. which hosts Rocket Shop right here. So everybody come on down, and Wednesday night, 6:30 to 9 o'clock. We'll raise some money to make sure that Big Heavy World keeps going. And you know, well, I can't remember where else I'm playing next week, but I know it's someplace. Oh, I'm playing Lost Nation out in Morrisville on Wednesday next week, and I'll be back in Portland, I think, the week after that.
Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing. And once again, thanks for supporting us here at Big Heavy World as well. But we would love to hear your last song of the evening, so go right ahead.
All right, this song here doesn't fit in with the season because it has to do with snow. This is called Like Driving on Snow. And this song came about because I was hanging out at Foam Brewers last winter, or maybe it was the winter before. I was hanging out with Stephen Yardley, who's a young sound guy here in town. A lot of people know Steve. But we were talking about following your bliss because obviously during pandemic, a lot of the young people had a hard time kind of dealing with not having gigs for a while. But I've had to reinvent myself several times as far as bands or solo acts. And I know there's clubs closed down, you know, managers change. It's hard to keep a career going sometimes because you run across those brick walls. And so we had a heart-to-heart talk about following your bliss, and then right afterwards I drove home in a snowstorm. And when I got home, I wrote this. There are times you want to go slow, like when you're driving on snow. It's a long road, a hard road, a high road, a low road, a tough road to hoe. Man, sometimes you know it takes a long time before you feel like yourself. But I'm here to be me, and I fear it has taken a great deal longer than I hoped. Well, I'm here to be me, but I fear it has taken a great deal longer than I hoped. Twists and turns, and every time you learn something new about your soul. And no one wants to hurt. What is the word that I keep searching for? Man, sometimes it takes a long time before you feel like yourself. I'm here to be me, but I fear it has taken a great deal longer than I hoped. Yeah, I'm here to be me, but I fear it has taken a great deal longer than I hoped. Will you grow into something you never could imagine? You're looking back on your dreams, and every day's a new one. Nothing is ever really now quite what it seems. Man, sometimes you know it takes a long time before you feel like yourself. I'm here to be me, but I fear it has taken a great deal longer than I hoped. Well, I'm here to be me, but I fear it has taken a great deal longer than I hoped. 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 Than I hoped.
This has been Rocket Shop Radio Hour at Big Heavy World. David, thank you so much for coming in tonight.
Thank you very much, Abby. Thank you for having me down here. It's awesome to be back here again.
Yes, and thank you for everything you've been doing. And next week here on Rocket Shop, we're taking a brief hiatus. We're prepping for Art Hop, so you won't hear from us for a few weeks here in August, but we will be back soon with some new artists here on Rocket Shop. But as for now, I've been your host, Abby BK, and we wish you a wonderful night. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.